Hey everybody, thanks so much for dropping in. Welcome to Did That Really Happen? Here on my YouTube channel. Uh, I wanted to thought this would be episode number one of Letters from History. I was my daughter for I think it was for Father's Day or Christmas, can't remember, got me this subscription to these Letters from History, and I felt that they were pretty interesting, and I thought, you know what, why not share them? I thought it was pretty cool, so. Today, one of the letters that came is was a letter to the president um, from the office of the United States representative on the United Nations Commission for the Investigation of War Crimes, from Alfred House, and the letter goes as such: Offices of the United States representative on the United Nations Commission for the Investigation of War Crimes, March 16th, 1944. Alfred House, Park Lane, West 1. Said telephone, Gross, and I think it's supposed to be Governor, 4631. Dear Mr. President, I received your letter of March 1st, in which you say there can be little reason for the disagreement on the general proposition that Germany and her satellites should be required to answer for the atrocities against the Jews. Presumably, the jurisdiction of the Commission, would extend to any cases arising during the war period, of which there are many. At a meeting of the legal committee today, I proposed this resolution. It is clearly understood that the words crimes against humanity refer, among things, to crimes committed against stateless persons or against any persons because of their race or religion. Such crimes are justiciable by the United Nations or their agencies as war crimes. It's quite possible that the wording will be changed at the next meeting, but I believe that I can get it through. Naturally, I did not use your name as in my authority. I merely said that I had adequate authority. There was some opposition based on the theory that this suggestion would have far reaching consequences and would widen the scope of the Commission's work, and some disagreement as to whether these offenses could be considered war crimes. I am sure that the majority of the Commission will support me. Of course, there can be no doubt of this if you could find the occasion to make a public statement on this subject at your press conference, or if such a statement were made by the State Department. There are numberless people in the world, and millions in the United States, who, if you did this, would find their hope renewed and would rise and bless you. To extend the definition of war crimes to protect these helpless unfortunates is not only a humane act, but a statesmanlike one. To say we are only interested in our own nationals is mere chaffering. If anyone is to be sure of justice, justice can be denied to no one. Now, a little bit of, I said respectfully, Herbert Pell, the president of the White House. Some of the context, historical context, when you mentioned there can be little reason for disagreement on the general proposition that Germany and her satellites should be required to answer for atrocities against the Jews. Presumably, the jurisdiction of the Commission would extend to any cases arising during the war period, of which there are many, writes President Roosevelt in a letter, dated 1 March 1944 to Herbert Caliborn Pell, one of his appointees. Herbert Pell, who was the U.S. representative to the United Nations Commission for the Investigation of War Crimes, sent this letter to President Roosevelt in reply to his letter. Pell explained his proposal to the UN to use the term crimes against humanity instead of war crimes for crimes committed against stateless persons or against any persons because of their race or religion. He explained that to extend the definition of war crimes to protect those helpless unfortunates is not only a humane act, but a statesmanlike one. To say we are only interested in our own nationals is mere chaffering. If anyone is to be sure of justice, justice can be denied to no one. The other relevant fact, which is number 3, is that the United Nations War Crimes Commission, the UNWCC, also known as the United Nations Commission for the Investigation of War Crimes, was established in 1943 by agreement of representatives Australia, Belgium, Canada, China, Czechoslovakia, Greece, India, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Poland, the Union of South Africa, the United Kingdom, the United States, Yugoslavia, and the French Committee of National Liberation. UNWCC members submitted information to the UNWCC on war crimes allegedly committed against their respective nationals. UNWCC in turn determined whether enough evidence for a case existed and periodically reported its findings to member governments. UNWCC also prepared, circulated lists of war criminals among the member governments. The fourth historical or relevant event was Pell was a prominent American who worked to raise awareness of the situation of European Jews in the 1930s and 40s and to avert the Holocaust. As the major U.S. sponsor and representative of the War Crimes Commission, he's able to assist in holding the perpetrators accountable. And many of you may be aware, it's really interesting because this subscription I have lists, they sent a photocopy of the historical letter itself, which you really get, you can read history books, but sometimes it's the little things that people miss in history, and if you don't pay attention to history, future generations are bound to repeat their mistakes. So let's hope and pray that history is not repeated, even though we see glimmers of it being repeated throughout the world today. But I appreciate you stopping by and checking out the video. If you have any questions or comments or dislike, let me know. Thanks so much for your time and take care. Have a great day.